Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is a man who can sleep soundly knowing that the Ohio State Buckeyes beat that team from up north. Yeah, and also he came to Indianapolis and beat the team from Indy. Ladies and gentlemen, the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans, team that can win the AFC South yet again, C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, CJ!
So funny.
What's up, y'all?
How are you doing, dude? Great to see you back on the football field
How are
yesterday, man. You felt good to be back out there? Looked like you were spinning the ball just fine. Looked like you hadn't lost a fucking thing. You felt really good out there yesterday, CJ? Yeah, felt pretty good.
Yeah, I knocked off a little rest, man. I had fun, bro. Just being out there playing, this sport that I love to play, man. So I had a great time, and, it was good to see you there and, in your colors and everything. So it was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, it was a great time to be there. My daughter's first game, she had a blast. She was very excited to go watch this Indianapolis Colts team take on, the AFC South rival Houston Texans. And we'll lie to her whenever she's older. She'll say that we won that game, but she'll probably look up the stats and say, C.J. Stroud doesn't really do that in Indianapolis. Let's talk about your team. You obviously coming back was a big part of the storyline. You missed 3 weeks, right? Was there questions that felt like a long time. We were very worried, and I assume you were as well in the entire process. Was there planning for when you would come back? When was that kind of all being talked about? And did you just say immediately, you know what, I'll come back Indianapolis and ruin their lives? Was that a part of it?
It was really just health precaution. It's your brain. So, I'm not going to play around with that and take every precaution and just listen to the doctors and, our officials here to get the right, feedback. But it's something that you really can't have a timetable for. Like if you hurt your wrist or your ankle or something, God forbid, that's a timetable. You can timestamp that. But something with your brain, you got to really just take precaution and making sure that you're fully healthy before you go out there. So, I thought our team did a great job at that. And, I'm just grateful to be back and be healthy.
Okay, we're grateful that you're back too. You're a special talent, dude. And while you were out and where your team is at now, you guys are poised to go on a playoff run, big time run. Obviously, the defense #1 in the league. Offensively, watching you spin it. There was a couple times you can't see shit. I know you can't because where I'm sitting, I'm looking right where you're looking, hand in face. Yeah, right. Let me go ahead. 30 yards, this thing just levitates, doesn't even drop, right into a Dahn. You're outstanding, okay? You are absolutely outstanding. The offense is awesome as well. What is the messaging behind the scenes for you guys? Everything's available. Everything's possible. Nobody's really talking about the Houston Texans at all, I don't think, throughout this entire season. What is your guys' thoughts on how this season can be and where you are right now?
Yeah, of course, we didn't start off, the way we wanted to. We lost, 5 games of, in between one score. But I think, other than, looking down on ourselves about it, it was a positive, to fix some issues. And we start winning these close games against these really good teams, we'll be able to take the next leap to, get to where we want to go, and that's the playoffs, and then, go from there. So, I thought, yesterday was a really good start for us, at least for me coming back. And I thought, we answered the bell against a really, really good team with the Colts there, who have really good defense and, been playing really well offensively. But like you said, our defense, man, has, been, a rock and just the best in the league from, I practice against them, so I know how hard it is to go against them. But yeah, I think, if we can be able to play complementary football in all 3 phases, we'll be able to win a lot of games. You guys get a tough way, a tough environment. That's a really good team. Did you see what they're doing on the internet? Did you see what they're doing? Did you see the picture? Nah, I'm not on there. Did you see this? I don't like this at all. I don't like hilarious.
Is it, CJ? It's called the Loud House, CJ. Okay, it's not the Stroud House. And I don't like that they're doing this. This is what's happening on the internet right now. You said you're not on the I asked X to delete it. Okay? Just know that I'm trying to clean that up.
Did they do it? Did they do it?
I don't know if they got around to it yet. I'm not happy about it. But it does feel like you play great football there every time. It's an honor to watch you. And geez, Louise, Houston Texans all the way back. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, CJ, obviously it's actually about the Stroud House that we just saw this picture. What is it about? You seem to play very well inside the confines of Lucas Oil. What is it about that? You have good sight lines, good vid. What is it? It seems like you just, now obviously you play well all the time, but whenever you come into the Loud House, as Pat likes to call it, you seem to do, take it to another level.
It's the name of the place.
Yeah, I would just say the level of focus, maybe goes up a little more just because it's a divisional opponent. And, my boy Zaire, he's always mad at me. And he always talking crazy. So that maybe turn me up just a little bit. And so I know he's going hear this and he's gonna hate it. But after the game, we're always cool. But during it, me and him go at it pretty good. But it's just all the competition. So I think it turns me up a little bit more, and I think my O-line hears it and they want to play harder. So it's just a division rival. In those games, you're gonna be talking back and forth and having words for one another. And I think maybe that turns us up. But I just try to just be focused every play. Go want to know every play and take it from there.
Yeah. Let's let him sleep, maybe. We got to play you guys again. We got to play you guys again. It's going to mean a lot. And let's just let C.J. Stroud just go to bed. You got this moxie about you. You're duck-footed, and you go heel-toe. I was watching you walk because you're right in front of our suite while there was a touchdown happening on the other side. You had a full set. You're by yourself. You're over there just having your time. Then O-lineman comes running over to you. Your walk is just that filled with aura. I mean, you're franchise QB, brother. It is cool to watch you kind of do your thing. Now let's talk about the quarterback position and everything that you've gone through this year. Go ahead, D-Butt.
Yeah, on that note, being a franchise QB, obviously you were banged up and you had to kind of watch the game from a different perspective. You used to being out there. What's that relationship like with Davis Mills? We call him Dougie Mills, but what's the relationship like with him off the field with you guys?
That's my brother, bro. Like he's been a really great leader for me coming into the league. I thought, coming in, fighting for the same position, he always showed me love still, and I try to do the same. And he's made me better. I feel like I made him better. And we have our QB dinners that we do, and we handle a lot. His wife, is a really good friend of mine as well, and his family, I meet them, every time they come to the games and stuff. So, that's my brother, man. I always support him, always, root him on. And I just think it's funny that people ask these questions now, just, because he's, had, some really good games. And, it's something that, like, I root that on. I think he's a starter in the NFL, and I think, he's proven that, in these couple games that he's played. So I just think it's funny how people, can try to switch the narrative to make it seem like I'm like some guy that's like, oh no, like
I saw a photo of you in the locker room. They saw a photo of you in the locker room. Everybody was happy, but you. Okay, everybody was happy, but yeah. I'm telling you, I've seen it with my own eyes.
I'm prime.
You can see one photo, but look at the whole thing. Like,
no, it's 2025, CJ. We're not doing that.
Right.
I saw one frame. That guy's not happy.
Still concussed too in that frame.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about the lights in that entire thing. Yeah, it was a narrative though. It was a narrative.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Some things in life, I try not to respond, and just let my private life be my private life. And I thought, me and my teammates, I think they, know how much of a leader I am and how much, having that C on my chest means to me. And that's not when it's always good for me, and that's when it's good for the team and it's sometimes not great for me. I got to be happy because that's, more important than just my selfish and my, personal desires. So I put the team before me anytime, man. And if that's, me not playing because, it was a Thursday night game and I was just super happy that we got the dub and it helps me out that I get to play hopefully more ball, as the season goes on.
Yeah, but I saw a photo, so.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need to hear it. I'm happy you cleared that up, though. That's good. And Dougie knows that you're happy for him, and that locker room knows that you're happy for him. Feels like you guys have a great culture down there. On that note, Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, CJ, yesterday and throughout this 4-game win streak, Jaden Higgins and Woody Marks have really come alive. 2 rookies, Nick Caserio once again in his bag. What have you seen from them as the season has gone on? Just developing as a wide receiver and a running back and their contributions to the offense during this win streak.
Yeah, I always remember my rookie year and being thrown in the fire and kind of just thinking of like time on task. It's like some things, are better when you just get thrown in the fire. You have to figure it out. And I thought, they've figured it out pretty early. So, Woody has been an anchor, in our running game and, has created a lot of, big time running plays for us. And then on top of that, Higg is out there, and he has a lot on his plate, blocking and, running routes. And I thought he's done a great job of that and, clean body language. And, it hasn't been overnight. A lot of conversation that I have with those guys, just, being that I was just a rookie, 2 years ago, just shows that, I understand, what they're going through. And I think the main thing is confidence, with that being a rookie, is you can keep your confidence, man. It's the same game we've been playing since we were 10, 11 years old. It's just, at a different scale. So the confidence that you bring each and every day, and the preparation, that all, adds up to, how you play on Sundays.
I forget who said it, but somebody said, I was telling people that I was the best in the world about 2 years before I was, and that's like a perfect mindset for professional athletes, basically. Even if they're outside humble, inside there is a belief that they're fucking real. Like, that's what separates, I think, the professionals from everybody else. The great from the good, I think he's in between the years. Confidence is such a big part of it. Confidence comes from a lot of work, though. You don't just wake up with that shit. You got to work your dick off.
And once you put it out there, a lot more people are going to be looking at you, waiting for your downfall. Waiting for you to slip up, waiting for you. Oh, okay. So that's a part of it.
That happened to you, dude. That happened to you a little bit. That happened to you. You're going, You've battled, though, which is why we appreciate the hell out of you. Now, speaking of battling, it's been a long time since the people of Ohio have had a chance to be happy. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, CJ, obviously, your boots to the fire right now trying to make it to the playoffs. But I think I saw that you called Coach Day after the game against Michigan. Obviously, you know that rivalry, how important it is more than most. What'd you think about that game, and how happy were you to see that Coach Day finally got that Michigan monkey off his back for the first time in 2,191 days or whatever it was?
Yeah, man, I'm just so happy for him. Somebody who, I consider, a brother of mine, a person who I look up to, and somebody who, is instilled confidence into me and, made me, feel like I was the greatest thing since sliced bread when I played for him. So just to see, his hard work pay off, to see how much he puts in, and the coaching staff, to win that game, to finally get that done, man. I just think it's super cool for Columbus, for the state of Ohio. And I think he just stamped himself as, best coach in college football. And I've been known that. Just the mind that he has, not just offensively, but as to run a program, especially there where everything is so critical. I thought he's done a great job. And you talk about class and, doing it the right way and not looking ignorant or like a fool after you win, because we could have did that. But to have class and, to still have fun with it, though, and not disrespect anybody, I thought that was super dope to see. And, I'm super proud of Julian, man. Like, that kid's a baller, Cali kid, and, processes the game the right way, has a heck of a touch, a heck of an arm. And then, the beasts on the outside and up front, they're playing well. Then, like us, they probably best defense in the country. So I just think, they're playing it off cylinders. And, I think everything starts with Coach Mick, though. If Coach Mick is the reason why, we moving guys up front, while defense tackling the way they are, while Julian throwing that ball, and the strength staff. So I think all that coming together, when you get that dub.
Yeah, it feels like very comfortable being a dynasty, too, Ryan Day. Feels like the way he's moving, he understands what life is like at the top, never satisfied, continuing to motivate, understanding the situation. Him talking to Coach Moore afterwards when they're shaking hands. Hey, we're not going to plant the flag or anything, but you need to get your guys out here. There's going to be some shit, basically, is what Ryan Day said. We're going to win with humility. There was a stoppage of it all. And then afterwards, in his press conference, when he said, I've thought a lot about what I would say at this exact moment right now. I'm going to save those for another day. We were going to win with humility through it all. What do you think you would have said?
I wasn't here.
Yeah.
2191?
I had cops outside of my goddamn house. Okay, 2 years, because our own fans were coming after me for not winning this game. They potentially had our signals. Remember, that was full the amount of things that he could pull from and what his personal life was. I think everybody that has ever met him is happy for him in this particular moment, except for Michigan people, obviously. You called him, is that right? We did hear that, a little bit of a rumor. You called him. What was the messaging and what was the conversation like?
Yeah, I just told them how much, I'm proud of them, and just, just to see the smile on their faces, and, to finally get, like you said, get that monkey, off our backs was just dope. And I was really just raving about the play calls, I told them about, it was a play that I ran my whole career there, that, I seen them run and we scored on to Carnell. I was like, and I text Coach Key, the tight ends coach, and then when I talked to Coach Day, I was like, man, I seen where that play was. And then the one Brandon Ennis scored on the motion, I thought the motion was super cool. The timing, to get the ball snapped, in the perfect element where they thought we were going to the flat, and he breaks it across the face on the slant, I thought was super dope and a great play design by Coach Hart. So, and I really was marveling about, the play calls, but I thought overall they played great. And, yeah, that conversation was well needed. I ain't talked to Coach Day in a little minute, so it was good to see his face.
Hell yeah. Good to see your face too, dude. Just not in our stadium. Stop it.
Yeah.
Enough of it. I don't like what they're doing on the internet. I don't like that. I don't like your name on our stadium. But Jesus, you guys are really good at football.
Go football team.
And it seems like you're about to be good for a long, long time. Thank you for hanging out, brother. Have a great day.
Appreciate you guys, man. God bless y'all.
Bless y'all too, man.
bless you.
Bless you too, man. Hey, bless the Texans. All right, see you, dude. CJ Stroud.
Yeah.